a social enterprise organization in Kenya that propagates socio-economic, political, and talent development of persons with disabilities through assistive technology. This is an organization that was formed way back in 2011, but operationally started working effectively 2017. When we got our first, our legacy project, which was sign language television station, Science TV, to broadcast in sign language with voice overrides. Science TV has been a station that has really enabled persons with disability to tell their own stories and be able to help corporates and governments to be able to be inclusive in their communication in a manner that it entails inclusive communication. We came up with the High Festival, which is an outreach program whereby we have corporates, government, persons with disability coming to an event that is kind of informal and just exchanging ideas. We've seen this going up very well, whereby this has enabled the corporates to understand, or the government to understand, how do we make the workforce, workspace, and products and services inclusive, basically through that festival that we call High Festival. Then the next thing that we came up during COVID-19 was there was a challenge of deaf people accessing sign language interpretation services because of wearing a mask and the issue of having nurses and doctors shields and gloves. So there was a challenge of sign language interpretation, and that's when we realized that we should remove an interpreter from the room, because if they go there, they'll also be having the masks and the gloves and face shields. And so that's why we came up with the assistALL, which is a sign language interpreter's mobile application that enables interpreters to be found on the virtual space, whereby we have integrated this app together with the coming to understand what are exactly, when post-COVID, what exactly are the pain points of both corporates and sign language interpreters. We build this app to include how do we make sure that now, instead of just having one call going through, how do we have multiple calls? So we're able to build a broad calling database whereby it can support very many calls. The other issue we looked at, how do we make sure that you get paid the moment the app goes and you're able. So we were able to integrate this with the mobile money network, that is M-Pesa, powered by Safaricom. The other thing we looked at is that how do we able to store data, so we're able to buy high bandwidth of data to be able to support these calls. And this has enabled this app to be used in the political space in 2022 election, whereby IBC was able to use this app to help deaf people before, during, and after elections, whereby they were able to access voter material, voting information, and feedback that was happening through when we worked with the IBC. That was at that time it really helped the deaf people to access this information. The app has been developed to be available on 3 platforms. Number one is Play Store by Google. The other one is App Store by Apple, in which we've been able to integrate there. And then the third one is on the web app. And all this came out of various iterations that the feedback we've received from the clients, in which what happens is you download the app. After you do registration, different categories that you'll get in. Either you'll get in as a professional, you'll get in as an interpreter, you'll get in as a deaf person. So what happens is, after that, you're able to put your details, and it gives you as a category. So if you're an interpreter, you'll be required to load in your certificate, that's credentials and profiles, the languages that you're able to use, because remember, we want to have a situation whereby even someone in the village is able to access sign language interpretation, because they should not just be in English and Kiswahili. It should be in my local language. If I got if a grandmother who has a deaf child, they are going to seek medical assistance, they should be able to communicate through the app. So this has been very effective, in which you profile interpreters, then what happens after downloading the app, you are supposed to in your wallet, it require you to load in money if you are a user. It requires you to load money. So when you load money through directly, it links you to your M-Pesa account, in which you're able to put your authorize you in terms of putting in your password. Then it tells you how much you need, and remember that it charges 30 shillings per minute. So what will happen is, if you want to go for 10 minutes, you just put 300 shillings and you're able to call. So what happens is, your wallet, the interpreter has a wallet and you have a wallet, so the minutes will translate directly to the interpreter, and what will happen is there will be a movement of your minutes being debited and the interpreter's minutes being wallet being credited, which will be equivalent to the amount of money that will move it. So after the call, you'll find that it will receive a notification that your call was 20 minutes and you've spent 600 shillings that has gone to the interpreter. The interpreter equally received that. The issue of semantics is very important in language, sign language. So we've been able to keep the issue of having physical interpreters or live interpreters because of the issue of artificial intelligence. So very soon, when we deploy AI, it will just be learning what the interpreters are doing, because remember that the semantics, if we don't want a situation whereby the AI is hanging, to be able to understand, for example, one word like I'm happy, I'm glad, I'm thrilled, I'm excited is the same thing. But you realize that the AI will be have probably been accustomed to I'm happy. So we don't have a situation where a conversation is happening and it hangs because it doesn't know what is happening in the conversation. So that's what we're looking at, and we are open to deploy AI behind the scene that is going to learn from the interpretation that is happening. Another innovative thing is, for this to happen, we are looking at how do we integrate the various enablers, the current enablers that we have in the development space. And this is mobile money. We are looking at data, storage of data, that so that if this happens and there is a court case that is happening and an interpreter used or a deaf person used this app to be able to provide information at the police station, then it becomes very easy even to be relied on as an evidence tool to be used in the court justice system. So we are looking at very many areas that we are going to use this, and very soon we are building the app to be able to help the deaf people to make live calls. Like, for example, a deaf with a smartphone can be able to call a landline and connect directly to the interpreters. This is going to revolutionize customer service. It's going to revolutionize the issue of deaf people having to seek information through telephone calls. So this is some of the things that we are working around through three-way call to be able to make this applicable and work. If you have these people, the deaf people being included in the workspace, then we have solved a very big puzzle in terms of socioeconomic inclusion. They'll be able to afford now quality health care. They're able to afford quality education for themselves and for their kids. So we are looking at a holistic. So economic empowerment is an area that we are really keen on to make sure that it works and it helps deaf people to be able to access employment. And this will go a long way to open up the opportunities for their social inclusion.